Oh, hi, I didn't see you there. My name is Bliss Foster. You saw the title. Let's get into it. Ziggy Chen. This relatively established but largely unknown designer from Shanghai is one of the most exciting young voices in fashion. Of his own process, Ziggy said, quote, "It's not a part of my custom to set a target to search for. My inspiration is an accumulation of little fragments of my daily life." Ziggy's work is really heavy on artisanal craftsmanship, and his aesthetic is completely different than anyone else that I've seen before. It's incredibly hard to create clothes that have the beauty of age on them in an effective way, but Ziggy strikes that balance really, really well. And personally, I'm always looking for brands that use really high quality materials, and boy does Ziggy come in strong in that regard. The knits are mostly cashmere, the pants are mostly wool, as it should be. I wish we did, but we kind of don't have time to go into the technical processes that are used for this stuff, but I honestly think that the collection speaks for itself. These are not quickly made clothes. Moving on. And also subscribe. I always forget to remind everyone to subscribe. YouTube is always like, don't forget to tell people to subscribe. And that just always strikes me as really lame, but I guess I should do it. So please subscribe. P. Andrade. This Brazilian clothier gave me the rare experience of feeling like I was actually looking at clothes from the future. We have a few pieces that lean into industry trends, like this puffer, which is fine, but Andrade really shines with his use of prints. This reminds me a lot of Jun Takahashi's work, not in that you might mistake a Andrade piece for an undercover piece, but more in that I'm looking at these prints and saying, I don't think I see anyone else doing prints in this way. This is the place. The prints are where I feel like I'm looking at clothes from the future. They're simple, but with a lot of nuance to them. I'm often looking at prints like the legs and feet on the back of these pants and thinking, that is so simple. How have I not seen someone do this before? And that's what makes me so confident in this kid's future. He's executing simple ideas flawlessly. Do you like the fit, by the way? I rolled out of bed and put on a bracelet and was like, I'm dressed. Okay, let's keep moving. But before we do, you should support the Patreon. This channel is only able to exist because of literal financial support coming from people. YouTube ads pay almost nothing, to be honest. And yeah, if you want content like this to stick around, you got to support it. Plus, it starts at $3 a month. I have a whole tier that's built for student budgets. Sillage. Most brands that emphasize high quality materials struggle to make creative clothes. And a lot of that honestly is just because of the audience. Like, people who tend to say, I want a nice wool blazer, tend to be conservative dressers. Sillage strikes a balance with both things here. The materials here are gorgeous, and these clothes have a lot of imagination thanks to Sillage's strong creative voice. We got Selvage denim blazers, we got the alpaca wool blazer, we got the alpaca plaid trousers, we got the moleskin flannel jacket with the beetle on it, we got the mad thick corduroy trousers. It's really rare that I look through an online shop for a brand and say, oh, I would actually wear all of this stuff. Plus, their color palette is mad cohesive. All of their stuff would mix and match together perfectly, as one might expect from a single brand. But I also feel like this stuff would also pair extremely well with just about anything in your closet. Hot damn. I love this brand. As always, these brands are not all going to be brand new. Like, they're not all going to be in their first season, though some of them are. What I tend to do with this list is to say brands that are either very new and off to a fantastic start, or brands that have been around for a few years but are criminally underrated. Meryll Rogge. Meryll has a really impressive resume. She worked at Marc Jacobs for a number of years. She worked at Dries Van Noten for a number of years, and now she is in the first few years of striking out on her own with her own women's wear line. She brings all of the positive elements of designing like a student. Sort of everything has that feel of, anything is possible, go, go, go. But often the drawback of students' work is the actual execution, and Meryll has a fantastic execution. Everything is finished really, really well. A great example of that is these evening gloves that look more like those gloves that you would, like the really thick ones that you would use for gardening. Okay, so these are made out of double Dutch satin, which for those who are not textile nerds, that is the Rolls Royce of textiles. Fabric-wise, things do not get better than this. It's the top of the top. And when you look at many of these pieces individually, they look like they were their own project. As if there was like an enormous amount of time and energy required to push these things into existence, each individual one. But then when you look at the full collections, there's a shocking amount of cohesion considering how many ideas are flying around here. Meryll is off to an insanely good start. I cannot wait to see where she goes in the future. Yanyan Vanessa. Currently operating out of Antwerp, Belgium, Yanyan is a brand that delivers so much simplicity and perfect execution. If you're a fashion student and you want a damn masterclass on fashion world building, Yanyan is it. He takes a great deal of inspiration from various cultures in West Africa, and he's quick to acknowledge where that inspiration came from and why he wanted to pay homage to it. He also changes those designs up a great deal and makes them his own. There's never any copy-paste element to it. This is, in my opinion, this is one of the best examples of cultural appreciation I've ever found. I visited Jan Jan's studio recently, and I was shocked at how pure the process was for creating clothes in-house. They were creating patterns in-house, they were creating samples in-house, they even had someone on a loom creating textiles in-house. I don't believe they create all their textiles in-house, but you have no idea how rare that is for someone to actually be creating a textile in the design studio. But the biggest standout about his work comes when you see the clothes in movement. Most of his video lookbooks feature contemporary dance, and this is what they do instead of runway shows, and it's extremely effective. Yanyan Vanessa isn't a brand new company, but it is criminally underrated, and they've only been getting better at what they do. Thank you so much for joining me. Be sure to go join that Patreon and look forward to part 2, because there's always too many brands that I'm excited about in order to just do a single video about it. So we're doing 2 parts. Look forward to that. I love you a whole lot, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Okay, hey folks, we're done.